Hello, thank you very much for listening. My name is Jordi Ibern. I am a Reiki and meditation teacher and therapist based in Barcelona, Spain. In this episode, I would like to talk about the Reiki symbols, known as Chokurei or Symbol 1, Seiheki or Symbol 2, Honshazeshonen or Distance Symbol, and Daikomyo or Master Symbol. Let's start with the Reiki Symbol 1. In general, all the symbols are taught in the second level of Reiki and some in the third level of Reiki. The Reiki Symbol 1 is known as Chokurei in Western schools. Certain Reiki teachers claim that Chokurei has Taoist origins. Others believe that it was originated from Japanese Shintoism, while a third party says that it is a Sanskrit symbol that affects the first three chakras. Unfortunately, no hard evidence proves any of these hypotheses, and the true origin of this symbol, the Chokurei or Symbol 1, remains a mystery. For many Reiki practitioners, the first line of the symbol, a horizontal line, represents the cosmos. The vertical line, the second line of the symbol, represents its union with Earth. And the spiral, the final part of the symbol, represents the spiritual connection to our being. You can see, if you want, the symbol easily on the internet, searching for Chokurei or Symbol 1 of Reiki. Then you will see the lines that I'm talking about. In Western Reiki schools, practitioners are taught to repeat the word Chokurei verbally or mentally 3 times after drawing it, as a kind of mantra to increase the energy flow. This is not the case in Japanese schools. In practice, whether or not the word Chokurei is spoken, an increase of energy is perceived. Chokurei is a Japanese word that translates as imperial edict, communicating something that must be done. But Chokurei is not a mantra for the Japanese. But it is a mantra for the Western Reiki students. Yamaguchi-sensei, one of my teachers, when asked about the supposed mantra of Chokurei, answered, "For us, Japanese, Chokurei is like saying spoon. It's not a mantra, but not a problem either." So, if you learn Reiki in any Western school and your Reiki master told you to repeat the mantra 3 times after drawing the symbol, and you feel good with that, keep saying Chokurei 3 times then. It's okay. Reiki Symbol 1 is commonly used in treatments of others as well as self-treatment. According to both Western and Japanese schools, Chokurei promotes a state of harmony and increases the Reiki flow or the energy flow. Western schools teach practitioners to trace a symbol each time the hands change position, while Japanese schools only apply it when an elevated sensation of heat or tingling sensations on the hands is perceived. The symbol can be drawn mentally, physically with the hand, tracing smooth continuous movements, or even some schools they teach you to draw the symbol with the tongue on your palate. All options are equally valid. As I said before, first we draw the horizontal line, always from left to right, followed by a vertical line from top to bottom. And finally, we draw a spiral, which is always traced in an anti-clockwise direction. After drawing the symbol, the hands should remain stationary for several minutes in this position, in the same position that they were. The symbol can be traced more than once in each area or position. There's not a number of times that you can draw the symbol. Every time you feel it, you can draw it. There are also some alternative uses of Symbol 1 of this Chokurei in the Western Reiki schools. As many Reiki practitioners know already, it is possible to use Reiki to purify a space, such a room, when the energy is felt dense. To do that, in Western schools, they use this symbol 1, the Chokurei, drawing it facing every wall, facing the ceiling and facing the floor of the room. They do it locating themselves in the center of the room. Reiki symbol 1 can also be used to stay mindful when circumstances are psychologically or emotionally challenging, such as discussions, intense meetings, or interviews, for example. In these cases, the symbol can be traced in the opposite direction over the body. And actually, certain teachers claim that when the symbol is drawn this way, inversely, it protects people energetically, since it creates a type of invisible bubble that repels negative influences. However, it is unlikely that the protection that arises from the symbol 1 is due to an energetic shield. To me, the sensation of confidence and safety that is perceived when drawing the symbol is more likely due to the state of harmony that comes with Reiki when someone is connected to the source. In general, when symbol 1 is drawn slowly and mindfully, it encourages clarity and perception to connect to a state of Reiki. The symbol number 2 is known in the West as Seiheki. This symbol comes from the Sanskrit word Hrik, that represents the sacred seeds syllab, the emblem of Avalokitesvara, the Buddha of compassion. Seiheki has Buddhist origins. You can check on the internet Seiheki, but also you can check Hrik, H-R-I-H, and you will find the origin of this symbol. This symbol too is drawn in 4 smooth movements. First the front of the symbol, then the back line, and finally the 2 semicircles on top of it. As I said before, you can easily find the Reiki symbols on the internet if you don't know it and you want to check it out, you want to check what I'm talking about. Like I said with the Chokurei, in Western schools, students are taught to repeat the word Seiheki 3 times mentally or verbally after tracing the symbol. But this is not the case in Japanese schools. The repetition of Seiheki is considered a kind of mantra for Western schools, a mantra that would help treat psychological imbalance. However, and that's a big however here, I would personally refrain from repeating Seiheki after drawing the symbol, since in Japanese, Seiheki means bad habits and is considered a bit vulgar. Seiheki is definitely not a mantra, not at all. The misunderstanding of the name of this symbol comes from the Japanese Reiki technique name Seiheki Chiryo, which literally means treatment for bad habits. This technique, as you can imagine, is used to treat bad habits and/or addictions, and in order to do that, they use the symbol number 2. This is an invocation of the Buddha of compassion, so the symbol number 2, known as Seiheki in the West, is a symbol for compassion. The technique that consists on doing Reiki to a specific area on the head can be used alone or in combination with a Reiki full treatment. In cases of strong addictions, of course, the technique should be repeated more frequently over the course of several weeks or even months, until observing signs of improvement. In general, Reiki therapists use Seiheki Chiryos for addictions as complement to medical treatment. The name Seiheki Chiryo, eventually it became Seiheki in the West, and people started thinking that Seiheki was the name of the symbol, because we didn't understand the meaning of Seiheki. But Seiheki, it means bad habits, just bad habits. So it's not the name of the symbol, and it is definitely not a mantra. In Japan, they call it symbol number 2. The symbol number 3 is actually not a symbol, but a kanji, a sentence written in all kanji. Kanji is a system of Japanese writing using Chinese characters. This kanji is known as Honshazeshonen, where Hon means true or origin, Sha purpose or human being. Ze, pure. Sho, correct. And Nen, heart or deep feeling. So Honshazeshonen is related to the purity that lives in the original heart of human beings. It represents the desire to return to these original and pure feelings. The Reiki symbol number 3, this Honshazeshonen, is the symbol of distance. Honshazeshonen is a Jumon written in kanji. A Jumon is a sacred Japanese invocation that should be written down and spoken aloud. According to Japanese schools, Honshazeshonen enables us to connect to another person or animal's energy when they are not present, and allows us to practice distance treatments, since it connects us to the person so we can dedicate the practice to them. The common belief among Western students is that when using Honshazeshonen, we are sending distance Reiki. However, energy is not being sent anywhere. Reiki is everywhere, and it is in everything. Distance Reiki does not require sending energy, but instead practicing with the intention that another receives the benefits of our practice. Distance treatment simply means that to treat an individual who is not physically present and to dedicate our practice and its benefits to them. We use this Honshazeshonen in order to connect with this person. But if we dig a bit deeper in this, we will find that according to Buddhism, when we practice a spiritual action, such as an act of compassion, for example, we generate spiritual energy. And this energy can be used or offered to other human beings. Distant Reiki, called Enkaku Reiki in Japanese, embodies the Buddhist values. It reflects its Buddhist roots, where one's own effort is awarded to benefit another person or another animal. As well as distant Reiki, Honshazeshonen can be used to connect to past or future situations that in some way trouble us, such as unresolved conflicts in the past or worries about the future. Western schools, they use also Honshazeshonen to bring harmony to relationships and to resolve difficulties in these relationships. So Honshazeshonen is a kanji, a jumon, written in kanji, used for distance healing, past healing, future balance, and for healing relationships. In general, in Reiki level 2, Okuden, both in the West and in Japan schools, students are taught to draw the symbol and to pronounce the kanji correctly. The Western schools, however, describes Honshazeshonen as a symbol that connects people from the very depth of our beings. The translation that is usually given for this symbol is "The Buddha in me greets the Buddha in you." Also, as the same that happened with the previous two symbols, in Western schools, Honshazeshonen is a mantra, which must be repeated 3 times after drawing the symbol. However, Honshazeshonen is not a mantra either, it's just the name of this jumon, these kanjis, the sentence said in Japanese. In general, Honshazeshonen is the last symbol taught in the Reiki level 2 courses. The 4th symbol, the last one, is normally taught in the level 3 or the master level. So this last symbol, the 4th one, at least the last one used by Usui Sensei, the founder of Reiki, is also not a symbol, but a kanji, like Honshazeshonen. This symbol is known as the master symbol or the symbol of light in Western schools, but in Japanese it is Dai-ko-myo. Dai-ko-myo is not a symbol, but a phrase written in kanji which means great, bright light. Dai-ko-myo. In the West, this master symbol is considered an emblem of light. In Japan, Dai-ko-myo is a spiritual phrase that brings purity and blessings. It is repeated aloud while drawing the different lines. Daikomyo is a kanji and also a kotodama. Kotodama is a Japanese kind of mantra. In general, Reiki teachers use Daikomyo for blessings, to practice the attunements, reiju in Japanese, and to undertake certain specific practices. However, there are some teachers that choose not to teach or use Daikomyo as they believe it was not used by Usui Sensei in the original teachings of Reiki Ryoho. We actually do believe that Usui Sensei used Daikomyo because it has Buddhist origins, and Usui Sensei, as you already know, was Buddhist. When drawing the kanji, the horizontal lines are traced from left to right and the vertical lines from top to bottom. To clarify, a specific order exists for drawing the lines of every kanji, which are taught in each corresponding course. A very common practice in Western schools using this 4 symbol is the one named opening a Reiki channel, a ritual that is undertaken before a Reiki course and which uses Daikomyo to prepare the energy or the atmosphere of one place for doing a Reiki course. It is a similar act to that used for Reiki Symbol 1 for modifying the energy in a particular location. However, when using Daikomyo, the aim is to energetically prepare a space for practicing the reijus, the attunements that we teachers use in every Reiki course. If you have done Reiki already, or if you have checked on the internet or read some books, you have probably found other Reiki symbols. I talk about the Chokurei, Seiheki, Honshazeshonen, and Daikomyo, but you can find easily symbols like the Koriki or Raku, and many more if you are familiar with Karuna Reiki, for example. There are also some variations of the symbols that I talked about before. However, none of these symbols were used by Usui Sensei, the founder of Reiki, and some, like the ones of Karuna Reiki, have been added to the Reiki system in the last decades. So I prefer to talk only about the 4 traditional Reiki symbols, the ones that you will find in any Reiki school, in the West and in Japan. So I hope this episode helped you to understand a bit more about the Reiki symbols, and you feel motivated to learn them and to use them in your Reiki practice. Once more, thank you very, very much for listening. I really appreciate that you are on the other side. Thank you. I hope we meet on the next episode. Have a lovely day or night.